Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to our LSC video lecture series, and this is part of your module 2, in which we have session 5. In session 5, we have altogether 3 video lectures, and this is video lecture 6. Previously, we have completed 4 and 5, and now this is video lecture 6. And we have already known, dear students, that this is module 2 is covering your vocabulary as well as word precision, under which this is the third video. It's all about technical versus general vocabulary. If you could remember well, in the last video we talked about the general vocabulary as well as the corporate vocabulary, like professional vocabulary, and now in this video lecture we are going to much focus on the technical versus general vocabulary. Then what is the difference between these two? So the learning outcome of this particular session is, by the end of this video you will be able to, one is differentiate between technical and general vocabulary. You have to identify where you require to make use of the general vocabulary and where you have to make use of your technical vocabulary. Try to differentiate between these two, and then select appropriate vocabulary for different audiences, because not all the time you are going to make use of the same vocabulary for the different audiences, right? And moreover, when you are in the workplace environment, sometimes you have to give your presentation to some professionals, sometimes to non-professionals. Okay, the audience would be different. Then how are you going to? And then explain technical ideas using simple language. Though you are going to explaining the technical ideas, but to non-technical audiences, then how are you going to simplify those technical terms into general way? Okay, before you come to the class, prepare for in-class vocabulary activities. Now let me start my session with a kind of imagination. Imagine the situation. You have designed an innovative mobile app. Now you need to explain it. To whom are you going to explain? One is to a software engineer, because you have an innovative mobile app. And then to your mother, because we have known that no one is left without using the mobile, right? So how are you going to explain the same thing to your mother, okay, who has to make use of that app? Would you use the same language for both? Are you going to make use of the same language for both when you are explaining that particular app to your software engineer and to your mother? Not at all, right? Because it requires some kind of difference in your explanation. Engineers communicate with different audiences every day, not like only with their colleagues, only with the professionals they do communicate, right? But they have to interact with people from the different backgrounds, okay, with different knowledge and in different levels. The words you choose should match your audience's knowledge and needs. That is why understanding the difference between technical and general vocabulary is an essential communication skill. So here I stress on the last one, like understanding the difference between technical and general vocabulary is very important. First of all, you should know, right? You should have that difference. Before we begin, why should you learn? Why you have to learn the difference? Why you should identify the difference between these two? For one is, explain technical ideas clearly, communicate with both technical and non-technical audiences, avoid confusing your audience, become a better communicator. Here lies your creativity, because maybe you are really a good communicator who can explain really technically and professionally sound to your colleagues. They appreciate you well. Okay, maybe you started explaining regarding that app in a very professional manner and they do appreciate, okay, and they do understand, because you might have used a technical vocabulary in the right manner and you have taken the jargons. But if you are going to explain the same thing to a non-technical like your mother or to your friends, who are from a different background, okay, then is it going to be appreciated? No, we are going to just confuse the audience. When you start making use of the same technical vocabulary professionally, then absolutely it does confuse our audience. So for being a better communicator, you have to identify the difference between using technical vocabulary and using general vocabulary. Then when are you going to make use of that technical vocabulary? One, at the time of project presentations, when you are presenting your ideas, when you are explaining your project, okay, and then at the time of internships and workplace communication. The next one is meetings, reports and client interactions, everyday professional situations. And then how do you learn this one? Ma'am, this is okay that we have to make use of technical vocabulary and we should sound professional. This is okay. Then how to learn this one? First of all, refer to the student handbook because it does provide you a good vocabulary bank. And then compare technical and general words, practice with examples and activities, complete the LMS quiz. Then what is this technical vocabulary? Look at this one. Here you have the different branches. First of all, in CSE it's algorithm, but whereas in EC it's modulation, in biotechnology it's genin, mechanically torque, general English it's method. So you can identify the difference, okay, among the various branches. Can a mechanical engineering student easily understand biotechnology terms? They both are engineers, but still they do have some specific terms, right? They have to use some jargons, right? Can a biotechnology student understand computer science jargon? Probably not. Every branch of engineering has its own technical vocabulary. Imagine you are explaining your final year project to your project guide versus to your parents. Would you use the same words? No. This naturally introduces audience awareness. So here are given the branches, the technical words and the plain English equivalent. Now it explains you regarding the technical versus general vocabulary. The audience decides your vocabulary. Okay, engineers like technical, teachers can make use of the mixed vocabulary, customers mostly general vocabulary, and the parents general vocabulary, school students simple general with examples because they require some examples for their better understanding. And here is the quick check. Choose the correct audience. The algorithm performs real-time diagnostics suitable for. So here is the statement. The algorithm performs real-time diagnostics. Who can understand this vocabulary? Is it the customer? Is it an engineer? Is it a school student? Yes, it's true that B. Answer B. Like an engineer can understand these terms because it is a technical statement, right? Complete the task. Read today's word bank before you come to class. Make sure you do all this. Learn today's vocabulary bank. Add 10 words to your personal word bank. Complete the LMS quiz and be ready for technical to general conversation activity. So here are the key takeaways. The technical vocabulary like used by specialist, precise and discipline specific. Whereas coming to the general vocabulary, easy to understand, used by everyone, improves communication. A good engineer understands technology. An excellent engineer explains technology so that everyone can understand it. It's not like only possessing knowledge will fetch you a lot, but you have to be in a position to explain it in an understandable manner, where it requires a differentiate between the technical terms and the general way. So this is regarding your technical versus general vocabulary, dear students. So see you in the classroom. Be ready to discuss your examples and share your vocabulary discoveries. Thank you all guys.